Here we go, take two. All right, guys, so what we want to do today is start to understand our mental strength, okay? So if we talked about your physical strength, I think a lot of us would have what our attributes are. Maybe you can run fast. Maybe you can jump high. If you're a goalkeeper, you can dive far. But if we start discussing and having to list what our mental strengths are, that becomes a different conversation and a little bit more difficult. So I want you guys to leave here with a base understanding of what mental strengths there are, which ones we can control, and how they separate us from the competition or that next level that we want to get to. So I want to begin by asking the group, who knows what the percentage is of players that reach the next level? Meaning even academy teams, university teams, or professional. Who knows? Raise your hand if you know the number. You guys are really close. But the number is around 1%, okay? 1% of the players within here have a chance to go to the next level, if we look at it that way. So 1% of players either go to the academy level teams, go play university, Division I, Division II, or go on to play professional careers. Now, at the 1%, who here thinks that mental strength is important? Yeah, I think we understand that the top players in the world, the Cristiano Ronaldos, the Messis, the LeBron James, right? The top players in the world utilize their mind along with their bodies. So that's why they are the 1%. They're able to connect mind to body. And that's what we want to be able to understand with our talk tonight, is how can you yourself, every player in here, how can you take advantage of that extra skill of your mind and connect with all of the physical attributes and skills you already have with your body? Now, quick question for the group. What percentage mental do you think that sports is? Now, I would say, yeah, you're pretty close. Who else has something? Take a guess. Okay. Now, I would argue that 100% of sports and life is mental. And the reason why I say that, let's look at it this way. If you need to pass the ball, do you not think about it first that, hey, I need to pass it right foot to that area? And based on your training and your past experiences, does that not process through your brain first? I think so. Now, if you got to cut left, cut right, jump this way, attack the ball at this angle, do we think about it first, or do we just physically blindly do it? Yeah, I think we actually utilize our mind in every single action, physical or non-physical, that we do. And so how can we harness that? How can we take all of the mental and control the physical? Meaning the mental is the steering wheel, the physical is the ship. You decide which way you want to go, how fast do you want to go, and how powerful you want to attack situations. So again, 1% of players make it. From there, it takes even more dedication to the mental side in order to succeed. Now, here are some common hurdles that we face mentally. Now, there are dozens and dozens more examples. All right, but these are very common ones that I think a lot of us share, okay? Lack of confidence, losing confidence. Raise your hand if you've had that. Okay, yeah, we've all shared this. Okay, whether it's in the game, whether it's at home or at school, We've all shared a moment we've lacked confidence. We've lost it. We don't feel great about ourselves. Right? That leads also to focus and concentration. If you don't believe in yourself, your skills, your coach, your team, if you don't believe in what you're doing, are you going to focus and concentrate? I probably wouldn't, to tell you the truth. And I've had moments where I've had horrible situations and my mind drifts. I lose my focus. It's not a good thing, but it's a natural cause. It's a natural hurdle that we have to face. Now, the third one I think is really important. I think they're all important, but raise your hand. Who here has ever had negative self-talk? Meaning you've said to yourself, man, I'm terrible. Man, this last game I was the worst. Why do I suck? Who's here said that? Yes, we should all raise our hands. I've seen you all train. I've seen us give up goals and we're not happy about it. But the problem is how do we respond to it? A lot of times we use negative self-talk. Okay, it's very bad. If you make one mistake and you tell yourself, man, that was horrible, what do you think the chances are you to make another mistake? They're really high. There's actually some studies there that there's a percentage that will shock you that is going to happen again. It's the power of negativity. If you're ever going down a mountain and you say, hey, I'm snowboarding, I'm skiing, don't crash, don't crash, don't crash. I tell you what, there's a lot of times that you will crash. So that one's a really big one, and I think we all share that very commonly. Now, self-awareness. And this is one that's going to carry us into our second topic of the day of how do we create a weekly self-analysis developmental program. So meaning, if I tell you that you have to just run laps, you're not physically there, your legs aren't strong enough, or you need to do squat jumps, that might not apply to her. Does that make sense? She might need more quick feet, more, better skills on the ball distribution. Not to say you do. But think about it this way. If I tell you just to go train and do more and just work harder, and you're just doing what the group is doing, what if you're better than that group? What if you're better than the player next to you? And you're only doing what he's doing. So you're not doing and excelling as far as you can personally go. Does that make you better? No. It's going to slow you down. So being able to have self-awareness, being able to know, hey, I need to practice my left foot kicks. I was horrible with my left foot. That makes me different than just saying, hey, coach, we're going to clip balls and I'm just going to hit them right foot most of the time. I'm not setting a goal. I'm not practicing my left foot. That just makes my development very, very slow, very turtle speed. Does that make sense to everyone? So self-awareness says, here's what I need. Don't care what you need, okay? They'll figure their own thing out. Here's what I need, which is X, Y, and Z, okay? Then we can set a plan of here's how we attack it. Because again, if you have a cough and I just give you cough medicine and just say you're fine, take more cough medicine. It's not how it works. You need to figure out why do you have the cough. There's probably 100 reasons why you could have it. In Colorado, it's probably the dryness. It's probably having just allergies. But there's 100 other reasons, so if you just do the one thing that I tell you to do, you're going to fail probably 60% of the time. That's a good number. So, self-awareness. Now, off-field adversity. Has anyone had this? Has anyone had moments where coaches, players, fans, friends, or yourself have said, you're not going to do well this weekend. It's just not going well for you. and you have that gut feeling that it's not going to be a good game for you. And maybe it's nerves, maybe it's just lack of confidence, maybe lack of self-awareness, maybe some negative self-talk. But have we had those moments? Raise your hand. Yeah, I would think a lot of us, especially our older players, have gone through moments where they've maybe been in a final in a game, right? State Cup final and you didn't win. How did you feel? Did you go into that next week just knowing that you didn't do well? Or did you go in confident? It starts to create a lot of self-doubt with all of the off-field adversity. We're still rolling. Skipping ahead. Summarizing. So I think we've all faced a number of these. Just take a peek. Anxiety, depression, holding on to mistakes. I think we've all shared these. All right? Who here can list about 3 to 4 of these on the list that we've faced that are issues? Very good. That's a good start to self-awareness. Now we know some issues. So now, I'll tell you a story about when I was playing professional. Okay, one of my first contracts was in Thailand. And who here knows where Thailand is? It's really far. I don't expect many of you to know. I didn't when I got the call. But Thailand is the equivalent, the soccer there is the equivalent of MLS. You get 40, 50,000 people in a game. And so for a young soccer player like me, it was an amazing start to my career. But let me tell you how it started. It did not start easy. Again, you become one of the 1%. The hardest thing to do when you're at the top is to stay there. Because now you're 1% and you drop to 0.8%, and you're now lost within the crowd. So staying at the top can be one of the toughest things. And let me tell you, the first game that I played in Thailand, I was subbed in second half for the goalkeeper of Thailand. He got injured. I had been there maybe 3 months. And an amazing moment happened. I received a pass back from my defenders. And rather than just kicking it up the field, I had come from a background of using my feet. So I decided to cut the striker, fake him out to go this way. And for a moment, I was really proud of myself. I thought, wow, I just shook that guy off. Things are going good. A couple seconds later, another player I did not see came behind, stripped the ball from me, scored the goal, tied the game up. And let me tell you 2 things about Thailand. If you are a foreigner and do not do well, they will rip you apart. The other thing is, when you're a soccer player in Thailand, every newspaper, every radio station, every TV station wants to cover you, wants to just get that gossip, that news out there. So for another month or 2, my face was plastered all over Thailand. And it was for a massive mistake. It was not for the reasons I wanted, which was to be a big pro and to make a big entry. Again, I was the first American to play in Thailand. I had something to live for. But I was known now as the guy who used his feet too much, gave up a goal, and lost a lot of people some gambling money. I know that for sure. So it took me... The second part of the story is I didn't play again for 6 months. Not very much. And lost my contract after that. I had to step back and go, okay, how do I bounce back from this? How do I become a better player? And how do I overcome this very traumatic experience? It was an experience that could have ended a lot of players' careers. But for me, I took it as a moment to say, man, Devala, you suck. And how do you get better? Like you gotta know A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way through of what you need. Because nobody was gonna tell me. There was no coach, agent, or another player that was going to guide me through this process. Nobody walks your hand to the podium. Literally. Even when you win, they do not walk you to the podium. You walk yourself there with pride. And if you can't make it there because you're weak, because you failed, that's fine. You can either stop walking to the podium and trying to get to the top, or you can stop, or you can continue going and pick yourself up and find a way. So what I did was try to do that. I tried to find out, man, where am I weak? And my biggest area was my mental strength. It was way lower than I needed to be. All I knew was gym, training, repetitions, coaches doing stupid shots, shooting drills, do more. That was not the way for me. And it took me some time to realize, but I, in the end, came out to say, hey, I am now mentally strong in my abilities. If my abilities are a 6 out of 10, that's okay. It's really okay. But I'm not going to go into a situation thinking I'm a 15 out of 10 when I'm really a 6. But can a 6 go to a 9? Absolutely. Who here has dreams to play at the next level? Academy, college, professional, national team. Raise your hand. Who here has that dream? Thank you. For those who didn't raise, it's no problem, okay? But let me pose a question to you. If you don't have a goal, you don't have something that you're working towards, then why do we do things? That's my big question. From that, we're going to move on to the next step.